Hi, welcome back to Future Past, and it's a wonderful guest that we have today. And before I introduce you to the guest, I hope you're enjoying Future Past and appreciate your time. And also, that for those of you who are here for the first time, I urge you that you download and subscribe, primarily subscribe to Future Past so that you don't miss out on alerts of the future conversations and guests that we bring into you. And feel free to write to us with any feedback. And some of you are doing it, and really appreciate your encouraging words. Thank you so much. And glad that you like it and you're appreciating our efforts in bringing you these conversations with us. And with that, I'd like to bring in Vishal Vivek. He's a serial entrepreneur, founder and CEO at social impact company, and it's called Ukhi. And what exactly uh, Ukhi does and what Vishal does, we'll hear it in his own words. So, Vishal, welcome to Future Paths, and thank you so much for making time to be here with us.
Thank you, Nanju, and thank you for inviting me on your podcast. And I have seen your previous podcast. It is amazing and full of information and very deep learnings from entrepreneurs and people are breaking new paths for the world. So amazing work, and thank you for inviting me on this podcast.
Oh, thank you so much, Vishal. And I must admit that you're perhaps one of the youngest guests I've had on Future Fast. But I'm sure our audience will understand and appreciate why you are here. Vishal, can you share with us your journey and that you started off in the technology and online business and uh, to hemp? So, can you share your journey with us, please?
Oh yeah. So I'm very happy to share my journey on this. So, like I ran an IT company for the audience. I'm telling you, I ran an IT company for 10 years, and the journey was very interesting because when I was working in a company as a content writer, and I just worked for 5 months, and then I realized, oh, I can build up a bigger company than this. In so I left my job, moved with a friend of mine who used to pay rent and food, and because I was broke because I just had joined a company. After finishing my studies and then worked in the company, so I did not have much savings or anything. So that friend used to pay the rent and all, and I'm still grateful to that friend also. And then uh, so luckily or fortunately, with the blessing of elders and gurus, like that company picked up. It was a bootstrapped company, and it was into digital space. Like we used to provide search engine optimization services and all, and then we moved into advanced applications, software development and all. And we had a good clientele around the world, like from like US, North America, Europe and all. So slowly, gradually, that is scaled up to a certain height, and we have I had a good name in that industry as well. And then, but back of the mind, I always wanted to do something meaningful. So what happens? I'm a very introspective guy. I always keep on introspecting, questioning things because from a science background. I always used to ask what I am doing and what I am adding value to. So when I look at in the hindsight, when I look at the landscape of the technology, 90% of the company I feel are doing the job work for the American or European companies. They're just, they are doing the outsourcing work. So it is good that people are making money, and I was also making money, but at the same time, there's no glory in that. Like you are not doing something which is challenging, which is, like you are doing something which can really add value. You're just earning money, doing a job, and then coming home. In that case, in our case, I was an entrepreneur, so i I was a business owner. I was doing some work for some companies in US and in European countries. So the glory was not there, but that was a necessity because I did not have any money in the beginning. And if you read about me, Times of India has written a book on my life in 2019. So my background was uh, at one point of time we became very poor, and so I had to do this kind of job first to kind of fulfill our necessity and also like fulfill uh, a lot of responsibilities of the family. When I was done with that, Then I thought, let's move to something very meaningful. And there hemp comes into the picture because, and interestingly, you will be amazed to know, the idea of hemp came to me when I was living in Australia. So I was in Australia. I used to go to stores for, because in India I have never been to shopping things for grocery and things. I never do that. That's not my forte. But in Australia, I was alone, and with a friend of mine, I used to go there for grocery shopping. And everywhere I used to see in the stores hemp seeds, hemp seed oil, hemp protein powder. I was amazed, like, what is this? And then when I came to know it is just like bhang, like which is we call that hemp bhang in India. I was super amazed, and then I started digging into the details, like, and the details were still very amazing because that guy who was the founder of that company used to live in the same district in which I was living. I was living in Gold Coast. That guy was, and Gold Coast is in Queensland, and that guy also used to live in Queensland nearby. And anyhow, I connected with that guy after several calls and a request for meetings. And when I was talking to that guy, I came to know that, oh wow, he has got the inspiration from India. So the story was that that guy was traveling in
Uh,
India.
Vishal, here I just want to stop, just take you back a bit. Where did you start your uh, venture from in India? Which place, which city?
The IT one or the hemp
IT
one?
venture that you started.
Okay, so the IT I started in Delhi. So I was working in a company in Noida.
Okay.
And if you still want to go back, I will tell you. So I'm from Bihar, and I had come to Delhi to give tuitions because I had heard in Bihar that Delhi has a very good tuition rates, and they pay you on hourly, which was a big thing because in Bihar and all you get monthly tuition fee. So it was a kind of a thing that lured me here. And then while tutoring students and teaching students, I also appeared in cat mat, and also XLR exams that exit is JAT. So luckily, not in every portion, but in English, like verbal ability, I got 99% or something. So I thought that, wow, I if and in all the three exams I got more than 99 percentile in English language. So I thought that, wow, let's I applied for a job in a company as a content writer, showing that result only. That, oh, so because they used to ask me, you are from a physics background, a science background, and you are applying as a content writer. I used to say, because see, my English score is so good, like
Mm.
I can be a very good writer. And I got that job, and just to understand how it works. And then I could not, because I worked there for 5 months, but I was not at all happy. I always wanted to do something big. When I was also kid also, I always wanted to do something because I did not know what to do. So in that company, I got that perspective. Let's start a digital marketing company, and from there, the journey started.
And how did that exit happen? Uh, what's the story on that?
So for 1 year, when I was in Australia, I told you I met that guy, and then I thought, okay, let's start a hemp company. So I phoned my one of my friends and told, let's register a company in India, like, and we registered a company, and I started brainstorming and reading. So initially, I got interested with the seeds, but later on, when I started reading, I saw, wow, textile has so much potential. Like, it's a carbon negative textile. It can also be used for making plastic. And then I recalled my days in India, that you can see hemp almost everywhere in North India, almost like in UP, in Uttarakhand, in Bihar. Also, we have seen a lot of hemp. I thought it's a gold mine, and no one is looking at that.
And it actually
So
grows on the roadside, right? I've done some
yes,
amount of mountaineering there, and I didn't know. And incidentally, we had a few people who were with us, and they said, "You know what this is?" And they plucked it and they showed me. So that was my first introduction that it actually grows on the roadside.
everywhere, like in Uttarakhand and in Uttar Pradesh, which is nearby Delhi, people use vidicide to kill it from hemp. It grows so fast, and this is the fastest growing plant. Even grass takes longer. Grass takes 6 months, hemp takes 4 months. So it's an amazing plant, grows everywhere, and it's a lot of potential. It's a billion, or you can call it a $1 trillion plant. Yeah.
Right. And So we can go back to the Australian. So his motivation from India. So can we get to that story again?
Oh yeah. So it was like kind of a eye opener for me that wow, someone can. And then that guy tried to import from India in Australia but failed because of the rules and regulations, because in India still the regulations are not very clear. So he started importing hemp seeds from China and used to pack in Australia, and he made a good company, big name in almost every store in Australia in the part in which I was living. You could see his product, and it was very good to see that. And then yeah, so then I realized, and when I started reading about, I read some books and all, then came to know that CBD can be produced, textiles can be produced, plastics can be produced. And I remember that time I often write my ideas, so I had a copy in which I used to write ideas. And when I started reading, I wrote that I someday I will be making one of the largest biodegradable plastic company in the world from hemp and a textile. And slowly, gradually, in the last 4 years, it has kind of manifested in itself, like by whatever I wrote. Because that time I did not know how one can make plastic, how one can make textile out of hemp, because all these industry are very capex heavy, and a lot of research is required as well. So we started from like just to started to with an idea to sell seeds from India to Australia. But later on I moved to India, and then I started working here, and I started to like make people aware, uh, government aware about the things, bureaucrats aware about how hemp can be beneficial. And the journey has been going on and on till now.
So what's your major learning from your entrepreneur journey that you think has been very helpful in this hemp journey of yours?
Or from the last learning to this one, the last company to
Yeah,
this one you were talking.
yeah, yes.
Oh, what up? Is in Bihar, what happens? Usually, parents ask you to, motivate you to find a job in government. Like the most of the people want to be a, like to want to, get a job in bank, or they want to, like appear in UPSC and become an IAS or a bureaucrat or some government job. Like it is a testament of success in Bihar. So when I started, a lot of my relatives and friends used to say, "What are you doing? Like you are wasting your life because you have so much responsibility of your family and all, and you're the only son, and so many people are dependent on you, and you are wasting your time. And like you work somewhere or find a government job so that you can find a stability." So and in that company was started with nothing. I had a second-hand computer and help from a friend, like in terms of food and house, and there was nothing. I did not have much knowledge about the industry. I did not have uh, it, the know how to work on the things, but I had just the courage to wanted to do something big. That's the thing. And so the learning, I can tell you that first thing, that I could see my own potential, that I can do anything. It is not that like I need to do job for 10 years, 20 years, and then I need to then I can become an entrepreneur. That was the first thing. The second thing is that my first customers were from North America and all. So and after that, most of my customers from those are Europe or US. So I got a lot of exposure. I understood their culture, how they think, what is their priority in terms of the business and things like that. So I know how to sell to them. And that was my learning, and all those things came handy here, because uh, and also, since that company used to work for various industries. Like I used to work for real estate company, I used to work for cosmetic company, I used to work for fashion companies. So and by nature, I'm a very curious guy, so I kept on learning. So when I saw a lot of things came, when I look at the hindsight, came in handy, that I learned a lot about the industries and came to know about the impact on the planets as well. So uh, the reason I get later on interested in fashion industry, because I saw that I can make a big impact, because fashion industry is so polluting. But all this knowledge came from my working with those clients for of whom I provided technical services, like in terms of website development, software development, whatever. So those learnings came very handy. Also, how to promote. So this industry, hemp industry, till now, like it was not allowed to advertise on Facebook, Google, and all. You can't run ads for a lot of things. Initially, when we started, there were a lot more restrictions. So the only one thing was in hand was search engine optimization, so that you can at least rank well on Google, and you can attract customers, and you can. So all those things came handy in this company and helped us kind of become moderately successful.
So, Vishal, your journey of, I think you're a pretty young chap as well, right? Who are your influences? I mean, who influenced you in the course of your journey, or what were your motivation, and uh, uh, for wherever you stand today? Who do you think have played the biggest role in helping you get to where you are today?
I can answer this question, in a lot of detail. So I will love to answer the details so that I can at least give back to give respect to the people who have like influenced me in my journey. So I had different influence on my life at different point of time. So when at very early age, when I was growing up in Bihar, it was 90s and 2000. So in those times, we there were not internet and internet penetration, because Bihar is very backward even compared to Delhi and all. So we used to have books in house. So usually I used to read at the young age, like I was 6 7, in class 6 7, I used to read Mahabharata just for the stories, and the books were so thick, and got very much interested in Mahabharata, like Puran, Matatya Puran and all were in my house. So just, because it was very handy, I used to read them. And I used to get scolded also, because in there is a, perception in families that if you read Mahabharata, uh, quarrel will happen in the family. So my mom used to scold me sometimes that why are you reading this book again and again. And then I went to boarding school. There I got very much started reading about Mahatma Gandhi, and he was a real inspiration, because Mahatma Gandhi has been an inspiration for me always. Like I always wanted to do something for the poor. I have seen poverty myself also, but the kind of poverty I've seen for the other people, it always hurts me. And then after that, I boarding school, I went to Kolkata. I used to live near a mutt, Belur Mutt. So there I got and since I was very much already, I knew a lot about religion and things from Mahabharata and Gita and all. So I got interested in Vivekanand, and Vivekanand had a lot of influence on me, no doubt in that. In my when I was around 10 standard to 12 standard kind of thing, and read a lot of books, and I still read. But and then if you see from my academic perspective, I was always influenced by Albert Einstein and some other people like Schrodinger and all. But Albert Einstein has a lot of influence, and I used to. And then Albert Einstein, because what I loved about Albert Einstein was that first thing, that he also appreciated the ancient Indian knowledge, like the system and the knowledge we had in our Upanishads and Purans, and a lot of new technology which the Western world called theirs has kind of inspired from this thing, but they don't acknowledge, or might be they may be acknowledging, but we don't feel like, we think that that is coming from them, from Ayurveda or things like that. So Albert Einstein was the first guy who's told that Indian people has come closest to understanding nature, because Einstein always wanted to understand nature. And then after that, on in entrepreneurships, I have been, been inspired by many people. Like I can call the best I love about is the founder of Nike, and that is Phil Knight. I really like him, and I have read up his book, autobiography also. I read a lot about wars and historical, like Napoleon and all, has also very good impact on me. And at least those people, at least when you read them, you come to know that when something bad happens, you have to pass through that. You can't just go back. So that gives me inspiration, and these are the major people I can say have been inspiring me. Apart from that, I also admire a lot, like David Attenborough, the guy who often keeps makes videos and things planet, because that guy
planet.
really had helped a lot of, yeah, a lot of people has come to know about a lot of things about nature and the beauty of nature from his documentaries. So these are some of the people I say. Beside that, I'm very grateful and I want to acknowledge that my parents, my mom and dad, like the best source of thing, and also inspiration, and also my teachers in school. So they were always inspiring, and they always like, I will like to name a few just to, like
Please.
Mr. Vijay Shankar Mishra and Anish Roy Chaudhary and all these teachers. They inspired me a lot. Like they gave me, when we, because when we were growing up, we did not have access to so much internet and things. So they were the, like window to the world. And yeah.
Wonderful. In fact, I think today, somewhere this becomes a bit of a disconnect, right? Because a lot of schools, uh, at least in the 2 years of the pandemic, people had to study online. So I think that getting inspired by the teachers somewhere kind of got cut off. But hopefully, I think it's getting back in track and people will still connect with the teachers. But at the same time, I think the education in future is bound to change, because somewhere this online part will always be there. So wonder uh, how the teachers will continue to inspire students. Uh, uh, at least uh, it has happened till now, but in future, I don't know. I keep wondering about that. Are there
Yeah.
books, podcasts that you follow that you want to talk about, you want to share with our uh, audience? Perhaps they would also find it inspiring.
You mean podcast or movie? What did you say?
Podcasts, books, whatever that you want to recommend for them.
Oh, yeah. So I think one should read like a lot of books I can recommend, because I read a lot of books. And like I will certainly recommend the book of Phil Knight, the Nike founder. I like the
Yeah.
book because you can see the journey. You just see that they made $1 billion company in a very crowded market, but when you see the journey,
Was
you
that
will
Shoe Dog?
recognize it. Yeah, Shoe Dog. Yeah,
Shoe Dog,
yeah,
yeah.
that's an
And
amazing book. Yeah, the Shoe
yeah,
Dog
and there
is
is
amazing.
one
Yeah.
more biography on him, but I think authored by another guy who worked with. I mean, it's a story of Nike rather. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I
Please
lost
go
your
on. Yeah.
voice. So you Shoe Dog is one I love the most. I keep on reading, and there are many good entrepreneurs and great entrepreneurs in India, but unfortunately, we have not celebrated those Indian entrepreneurs. So, I was reading the autobiography of Subhash Chandra, the guy who made GTV, and when you
Right.
read about the thing, you will be amazed to see how, because like how they have navigated the political things, and also like the way the West looks
The the
at
first
us, the
Indian
kind.
private TV channel, right? First Indian private
Yeah, yeah,
satellite channel. Yeah.
very
And also
amazing
he
book.
has
Like
many
I
firsts,
love.
right? He was a first TV channel. I think he was first to set up theme parks in India. Uh,
Yes, yes.
uh,
Also, he, if you know, like the packaging of the toothpaste and all, he was a
Toothpaste,
monopoly.
correct. That
Yeah.
SL, right?
So yeah, SL. So that guy has done a lot of things, and like when you read, I was reading that book. You can see he made a lot of mistakes. So when I make a mistake,
Oh,
something I just try
incidentally,
to.
he was the first to start Indian Cricket League, the precursor to Indian Premier League in the cricket.
Yeah,
Of course,
that's
that
true.
bombed a big time, but it was the original inspiration to IPL in India, right?
That's very true. Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah,
there a
yeah.
mention of
You have
that
so
also
much.
in the book?
Yes, yes, he has mentioned it. He lost some money on that, around 100 crores or something, but he started that, and I think because he also wanted to rights to the matches and all, and then I think Star TV came into things, and also
Correct.
Star TV, that guy Rupert Murdoch and all, they kind of backstab. He said so in a lot of things. He also wanted to launch satellites and all, and so he was first in many things, no doubt in that. So I think that book is good. Also, like some books I can tell, like Good to Great. I love that book. by some Stanford professor, and that book is
Jim Collins, huh?
amazing. Beside it, yeah, Jim Collins, yeah, and yeah, and there's so many books I can just list it out. You can read about the founder of the McDonald's, like Ray Kroc, like
Right.
though the founder was McDonald brothers, but that the Ray
Oh, there
Kroc
is a
scaled it
nice
up.
movie about him called Founder.
Founder,
Uh,
yeah,
that's a good
yes,
movie based on him. It's his biopic, if you
yeah,
can call that. So
yeah. I have seen that
it's a
movie. It's amazing
yeah.
movie.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a quick watch. If somebody doesn't want to read that book, you can watch this movie.
yeah, yeah. And also, like, I don't know, I should mention it or not. Even on Amazon Prime, there's a biography on the Playboy founder also. So that
Mm-hmm.
is also very inspiring. Like the way you, because there are so many magazines, and then you come and then you dominate the industry. So how they tackle, like they don't take shortcut. Then there are attacks in an industry which is very considered a borderline between obscenity and like tasteful thing, and then you create an empire out of it. So the way these people handle crisis, you can learn from a lot of from these kind of books. Like, even I was reading a book by Vijay Singhania, like the founder of Raymond, and then another book was on Ambuja. Like,
Oh,
so all
his
these guys write.
biography was very recently launched, right? Vijay Singhania's biography. He released it
It is
only
autobiography.
recently, I think. Yeah, but it's released only now,
Yeah.
right? It's very recent.
No. I think I read it like 1 or 2 years back, 1 year back at least.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay. Uh,
Yeah. So I think he's in news right now due to his son's divorce, but
right.
the book was really, yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Or
So that's a
maybe
good book as well. You
I
recommend that.
oh yeah. When you read all these books, you can see like how these people have handled and
Mm.
thought big, and making something big in India is a lot is very different than making something big in some other country like US and Europe, because there you can get people to back you up. Here, if you become big, a lot of first becoming big is difficult, and if you become big, then a lot of like other things come into play as well, like dynamics of politics and things like that.
No, but to
But
fair to
yeah.
say that, see, we are almost three times or three and a half times more populous than US. So we just have more number of people, and uh,
Yes.
and also our infrastructure is not nowhere near comparable, at least majority places, right? Like you were talking about in the late 90s, early 2000, internet connectivity was still not as good in Bihar, right? Uh, uh, in fact, late 90s is when I used to run my internet business, yeah. And that is where I used to run something called Kannada.com. And 88% of my users were coming from outside of India because we just didn't have sufficient internet penetration here. So most of my audience were outside of India. So, so, so that is where I think we in India had to struggle with a lot of these gaps. But I think those things are changing. But yeah, there are still some problems. Access to capital and some of the compliance issues. I think particularly the business that you're in now. Maybe I think we will talk about it in the next part. True. So
Okay.
we clearly have some challenges, but yeah, I think these guys you mentioned, and there are so many more, right? Entrepreneurs, and particularly those who, uh, I think Subhash Chandra was a first generation entrepreneur, right? He didn't come from a family business or something. I have
No,
not read that book.
he came from
Family
yeah. So
business
his
as well.
grandfather
Okay.
was a very wealthy man, but they became very poor because of losses and all. And this guy has to start very young, like around 20 years of age. They had like like a machine for the food thing, like Pulse and all, and later on they worked with FCI and things, and then he did a lot of things, like different kind of things, and slowly gradually moved towards like
No, you're very true.
satellite.
Actually, somehow Indians tend to appreciate less of Indian entrepreneurs, like someone like Subhash
Yeah.
Chandra. He doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. Someone like Sunil Mittal, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
before he started Airtel, he had done some 17 different businesses, right? Including his first was a cycle business. So it's not
Yeah.
easy to make it, and somehow in India, I think that thing is changing now. That perception is generally changing today. Entrepreneurs are recognized, and government also does the Startup India and all those things. So those days, it was not easy at all for many people. In fact, uh, I don't know what's your thought on Vijay Mallya, but I still regard Vijay Mallya as one of the super entrepreneurs from India who created a brand like Kingfisher, which even today, many of my foreign acquaintance visit India. Only beer they want to drink is Kingfisher. So, what a
Yeah.
brand he
Yeah.
made in the times where,
And you know,
yeah, please,
I believe, yeah, I think, like, because people will talk a lot about Vijay Mallya and sometimes even the Sahara Shri guy. They were entrepreneurs,
correct.
and entrepreneurs can make money, make money also, they can fail also. But what happens usually, like, when someone becomes big, very big in India, they think he must be a thief or something, and must have got everything by, stealing and things like that. So that mindset is changing now, because I have seen a lot of, even I was speaking at Bigyan Bhavan in presence of MSME minister, and the MSME minister started talking. He said that, young entrepreneurs should keep the picture of Ambani and Adani in their houses. So this is changing. No one could have dared to talk like this in the past about putting pictures, though, the Modi government is being attacked by people, politicians, that they are supporting certain families, but in actuality, Indian entrepreneurs needs to be celebrated. There are so many more, like so many more.
Correct.
I've read so many, like, even Bajaj also, like, as
Right,
you were
right.
mentioning, Malia. So I also don't believe he was a thief or something. I don't know how people. The thing is, he failed. He made mistake. Of course, any entrepreneur make mistake. But what happens in other countries in India, that in other countries, even the government is against you, they can
So,
only
in fact, I
nail
wrote
you
a
by law.
small article about Kingfisher on who killed Kingfisher. In fact,
Yeah.
I think that is the
Okay.
only writing of mine which has seen nearly a million readers. So, which
Okay.
got the same article got republished in multiple online sources. I published it on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
but many took the same thing. They would change the heading and put it around at that time. And I think Malia tweeted it twice as well, because I think around that time, this was the only article which was somewhere supporting him, because it looked like the whole world was targeting him. But it is
Yeah.
very unfortunate. People tend to uh, blame him as somebody who cheated, and quite a few other entrepreneurs, right? They say that they stole the money and ran away. See, they killed one other business in the jewelry space. I'm forgetting his, some Modi, right? Uh,
Nirav Modi, yeah.
See, the company got shut down. It put 10,000 people on the street. See, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
very easy to blame an entrepreneur, but what was the impact, right? He created built a brand where he had a store in the uh,
Yeah.
high streets of London and Paris and New
Yeah.
York, and you make him a
Yeah.
villain and shut his business down,
Yeah.
and 10,000 people were on
Mhm.
street overnight, right? They
That's
all lost their jobs.
that's true.
So it's very unfortunate. A lot of these things are in India. I think I would really like to see more pro entrepreneurial thing, but I hope what you're saying is increasing, as in you said that more people are appreciating entrepreneurship today. So I just hope that tribe grows.
Yeah. Entrepreneurs can fail, like, and we should not, like, kind of victimize them, or say, he's a fraud or something, because any entrepreneur can succeed or fail. It happens in every country. But I think also I can see the resemblance in from US, like when this guy called Rockefeller was there. He was also vilified and all. Oh, of course, he was a shrewd businessman, but now you can see the same kind of traits in the news corporation guy like Rupert Murdoch, but no one can dare to talk about him that way. But when Rockefeller was there, people used to vilify him due to his practices and due to his wealth also. Sometimes people don't know you, but they think, oh,
Right.
he is so wealthy, he must do something wrong and got there. So this vilification of the thing is not good, because I think uh, those people have really did try to do something and they failed. They made some mistake. I think in case of Vijay Malia, what I feel, I may be wrong because I don't know the picture, the story behind the scene, but he was too visible. Too much visibility is sometimes bad,
I
and
think that
that
was
got
surely
got
there.
the thing.
Yeah.
So in the case of Nirav Modi and all, also like the same thing. Like if you're, but same kind of failure may have happened with other businesses. Like you might have seen Jet Airways and all, when the same part, but no one talked about them. They are still in India doing well, but he was so flamboyant and all. Like people were like, so I feel bad about those people. I'm not saying that I'm not trying to to say or give an impression that being unethical, no one should be unethical, but at the same time, like you should not vilify entrepreneurs who make mistake or who fail sometimes, because it's not a good thing. Like even like it feels so sad to see none of the family of Shahrashri came to his funeral, like the
Right.
Subrata Rai
Yeah.
funeral.
Uh,
It's sad, like like whom I will look forward to like become, because these people created thousands and thousands of jobs. That guy was so patriotic and he used to talk about India. But people did not see that. Like now people call he scammed a lot of poor people, and the government is not able to find those people who he scammed. Maybe if he scammed, return the money to them, but at least give the credit for the things he did. Like that is
Correct.
my point of
Correct.
view. Maybe I will, yeah. Yeah.
No, I empathize with your thinking on that. But yeah, there are a lot of people who don't really appreciate it. We just hope that be little more sensitive and become an entrepreneur. I think that's the best way to figure what it takes to be an entrepreneur. But it has its own highs and lows always. So, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
Vishal, thank you so much. Uh, I, I know. I think I also get excited, and we can go on talking about entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship. So, thank you so much, and to the audience, I hope you're getting a flavor of the energy that Vishal brings, and please join us soon to hear his entrepreneurial journey in the hen space and what he's doing, what are the challenges that he's facing, and what kind of future he sees in that business, and what kind of an opportunity possibly you can see in that. So, with that, thank you so much, and do share this podcast with all the people you think appreciate it and like to hear this sound. And if you're not yet subscribed to Future Path, do it right now. Vishal, once again, thank you so much for being part of this.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for to all the listeners who are listening to this.